Black Lives Matter under scrutiny as 26 BLM chapters sue the organization and its leaders, accusing them of defrauding local activist groups and stealing more than $10 million in donations. Back in April, we also learned BLM leaders bought a secret $6 million mansion in Southern California for, quote, safety. So, after raising $90 million after George Floyd's death, is BLM more caught up with the cause or the cat?
Welcome to another episode of the J Lex Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. Really appreciate you rocking with me. You know where to find it. Today's topic, Black Lives Matter. Really now? Now I know some of you who are going to hear this are going to say, oh, here we go again with him. He's always talking shit about black people, blah, blah, blah. Y'all are entitled to believe that. But I am not here talking about Black Lives Movement, Black Lives Matters, the movement. I'm not talking about that. I'm today talking about specifically the organization, which was co-founded by a woman by the name of Patrisse Cullours, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Alicia Garza, and Ayo Tumiti in 2013 as a charity honoring the memory of Trayvon Martin, who was brutally killed and murdered by that moron, that idiot who shouldn't be on this earth anymore, George Zimmerman, back in 2012. The organization started because of that, but they got real notoriety in 2020 when there was a slew of police-related shootings, especially dealing with people of color, and it was unfortunate. Obviously, those cases were either had gone to court, some people went to jail, some people didn't. We know how it usually goes. But they really got notoriety in 2020 when George Zimmerman, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, was basically assassinated, in my opinion, by the officer, Derek C. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name. He's obviously gone to jail. Good for him. Hopefully bad things happen to him while he's in there. The organization subsequently got $90 million from donations from people. Approximately $90 million of donations from people back in 2020. This was like at the height of all the COVID stuff. You know, even though like you were on lockdown, they were still allowing people to go and protest. I actually went to a couple different protests, one in Spring Valley, my old hometown. There was a bunch of them in the Rockland County area, but I went to the one in Spring Valley specifically. He actually has family there, George Floyd, that is. So I got to meet some of his family, got to be there, you know, and show my support. Obviously, what that cop did was awful. But Black Lives Matter, the organization, once I heard about it, I pretty much knew that it was it was BS, basically, as I've learned over the years. It's the same thing. I know people get mad, well, what's the matter with Black Lives Matter and blah, blah, blah. Most of these quote-unquote charitable organizations are nothing more than money laundering schemes and ways for people to get paid. And Black Lives Matter is no different than any other one. So this woman, Patrisse Cullours, basically claimed that the group had no infrastructure, even though they've been in place for 7 years now, before George Floyd, had no infrastructure in place to handle the flood of cash. And now the mistakes made are being weaponized against her. Can we stop with that, by the way? Can we stop? It's really pathetic when I hear people, you know, they try to mix things up. They try to mix things up when they're the ones who made the mistakes / poor decisions, and they want to blame, you know, the cracker devil white man or whomever it is, or the media, the right-wing media. I'll go a little bit further into it. $90 million raised by the organization. She ends up buying a slew of homes, including a $6 million property in Los Angeles, which included 7 bedrooms, a pool, soundstage, and a garden. As her claim was, it was an investment. It was an investment for the organization. This was an investment, she said. It's not personal real estate. It's not Patrisse Cullours' real estate. It's the organization's real estate. She claimed that the space was going to be used for media creation, used as a media creation space for BLM, and also would be a safe house for activists. Blah, blah, blah. As we continue on, she blames the right-wing media because they're going to put people in danger. They show a picture of the house. That is not a media space. Let's stop the cap here. She eventually stepped down. I mean, she did a bunch of other things. She according to the filings with the IRS, Cullours paid Turner's company, Damien Turner, who was an entrepreneur and the father of her youngest child, almost 5 times the amount that was paid to the Trayvon Martin organization, or the Trayvon Martin Foundation, excuse me. Cullours paid her baby daddy's company almost $970,000 for production, design, and media services for fiscal 2020. Wow. An additional $840,000 went to a security company that's owned by her brother. You know, are we going to really do this? We're going to really blame the right-wing media, the white media, for you, you know, spending the money that you spent? Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Let's see. She resigned from the organization a month after the Post revealed that she went on a $3.2 million shopping spree. She denies that the money was being used for residential properties in Georgia and California that came from a charity, and those properties do not show up in the filing. Longer story short, we know that this company, that most of these, organizations, most of these charitable organizations, could be the Red Cross, it could be the American Cancer Society, are just money laundering schemes for the most part. And this is what I'm talking about, okay? And I only even bring this up because more recently, let me look it up here, another BLM activist, or a activist accused BLM leader Shalomyah Bowers of stealing $10 million in a lawsuit. The new leader of the National Black Lives Matter nonprofit supposedly siphoned $10 million in fees from donors to pay for his consulting firm, according to a lawsuit. It's unbelievable how anyway, I'll just continue. Who became the head of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation in April, accused of paying his own Bowers consulting firm and diverting resources to a new group called Black Lives Matter Grassroots Inc. So we're just gonna this is money laundering. Allegedly. It was launched 3 months ago, records show. It claims to represent BLM chapters across the country. Oh my goodness. How do we not? Anyway, long story short, Bowers decided that he could not let go of his personal piggy bank. BLM, charged in a lawsuit filed Thursday in Los Angeles Superior Court, instead continued to betray the public trust by self-dealing and breaching its fiduciary duties. Instead of using the donations for its intended purposes, Bowers diverted these donations to his own coffers and intentionally took calculated steps to prevent the same resources being used by BLM on the ground movement's work. Oh my God. BLM's Global Network Foundation paid the Bowers consulting firm $2,167,894 in 2021, according to tax filings. Wow. He dismissed the lawsuit, saying to the Post, it's a power move by someone hell-bent on achieving power and control of the movement. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Like, I read this stuff and I get a headache. It's unbelievable. It's the most insane thing I ever heard in a court pleading, and I signed under penalty of perjury when they know it's a lie. Said by adding, I'm reading a bunch of other stuff here. I know at some point he blames white supremacy, which we can't continue this. I know at some point I was watching Crystal and Sagar, and he essentially, I don't remember the exact quote, but he basically blamed white supremacy. White supremacy. When does this end? When do we stop pretending like you're not the one out here committing these crimes? You're stealing money. And you're probably saying, well, how do you know this? I remember back in 2010 when the earthquakes happened in Haiti. We know about the Clinton cabal. We know about the whole Clinton initiative, basically money laundering. illegally money laundering, but somehow they're untouchable. But I remember Wyclef Jean started an organization called Yele Haiti, and I remember I felt such, all right, this is great. He's Haitian himself. He's a leader in the community, and you know what? I was just going out of my way. I was getting clothing. I was getting people to donate their hard-earned money, even if it was $10, whatever it was. There were different. There were different rallies, and there were different, not parties, but there were different events to raise money so that they could send it directly to Yele Haiti or to the American Red Cross. And a good portion of that money did not make it to Haiti. Maybe some of it did, but the rest of it basically, I remember reading an article where they were like, Wyclef basically tricked off on his side chick. He was spending money on his own things. And here's my thing. It is smart to go and invest in real estate in different parts of the country. But you should not, under any circumstances, be taking donations from people and using it for your own benefit. Aren't people supposed to go to prison over this? Isn't that like embezzling? Why are we allowing these people to continue? I have another question. This woman who supposedly stole money from BLM, like I said, supposedly, allegedly, I don't know, I haven't seen anything recently about it, other than this gentleman, paying himself, allegedly paying himself, or paying his consulting firm. I ask, do these people have to give the money back that they've already spent? Because they probably already spent the money. Does she have to sell that property back? And when do we as a community finally say enough of blaming the white man? Enough of blaming everybody else when you got your hands caught in the goddamn cookie jar. Y'all the ones who committed these crimes. Not Whitey. Let's stop blaming everybody else when you're the one committing these crimes. All these people asking for donations for things that are supposed to be charitable. You're doing exactly what the quote-unquote white devils that you complain about. You do the same exact thing. You're doing the same exact thing. It's unbelievable. But what do? We deflect. We blame somebody else. This is what I'm talking about. What has Black Lives Matter done? I talked about in the previous episode. We have rappers being killed in these neighborhoods. Being killed, going to a Waffle House, a Roscoe's, wherever. Being robbed of their... The fact that a law enforcement has to sit there and tell you, you shouldn't be wearing nice things in the neighborhoods that you live in. I purposely worked hard so I could have nice things. We see the crime rate that's going on around here, in particular in black communities. When are we going to talk about these things? Isn't Black Lives Matter supposed to be like leadership? Where are the boots on the ground to go into these neighborhoods and educate these young kids? Because it's not going to happen overnight. We know the church is not doing anything. They're no different than the rest of these organizations. These are charitable organizations, these quote-unquote non-for-profits, even though they make a bunch of profit. Where are all these pastors? Where's the National Action Network on this? If it still exists. Al Sharpton in them. When do we stop blaming every other person? When do we start lobbying for ourselves? Because you see, I believe strongly in lobbying for yourself. This is why I don't have an issue with the other, I don't agree with the way they go about it, but I don't have an issue with Asian people going out there and getting a crime bill for themselves. Not that I ultimately think that means anything, because if you want to hurt somebody, you're going to hurt them. There has to be a group somewhere Where's the NAACP? Who truly lobbies for black people? Because you can't just have a million people talking at the same time. You've got to have a concise message. You have to go to the powers that be. You have to work, unfortunately, within their system. Instead of every election cycle voting for the very people who do nothing for you. Why? Because they only cater to you because it's cool. It's a cool hashtag, or it's a you know, it's something. It's a cool photo op. When do you step up as a people? When do you say enough is enough? How many people have to be shot in your neighborhood? How many rappers? I mentioned it before. 16 rappers died. One of them was a DJ. One was DJ who suffered from complications of COVID. The other one died, I think, of a drug overdose. 14 rappers have been shot and killed. This year alone. These are men with children. These are men with families. These are men who are running businesses. When do you go into those neighborhoods and start to create that change? Or when do you go into those neighborhoods and start to buy? I just read recently, O Block out in Chicago. I know it got sold a while back, about 6 months ago, but I guess they're going to go through and they're going to knock everything down and probably start gentrifying. Y'all going to sit here and get mad about gentrification, but y'all will sit there and shed your own blood in these neighborhoods that you have rented for generations. I've talked about this. And then get mad when a developer comes in, knocks it down, and makes it nicer. Where's your leadership then? Where is BLM to talk about this? Or is every new person they're going to bring in just siphon off a little bit more money from the organization? Don't donate to them. If they're not going to do, once again, leave the emotions out of it. If they're not going to do what's best for you in your particular situation, don't give them money. This woman out here talking about, I'm paraphrasing, but that's a lot of white guilt money. Are you serious right now, ma'am? That same white guilt money that you gave to your baby father, or the father of your child, and that you gave to your brother, and that you bought a bunch of houses on, or you bought a bunch of real estate on. I have no particular issues with you buying real estate, but you can't do it with an organization's money. That young man, supposedly, going out there and paying himself in his consulting firm. This is a hustle. That's why I knew the day that or I didn't realize they started in 2013. I just read that recently. But the day that I read, Black Lives Matter is the organization, I said, get these people out of here. I support the movement. I don't support the organization. And people got upset with me. And look what happened. I knew this. I knew within 2 minutes of this was going to happen. I told you, I watched Wyclef do it. The Clintons did it. Probably one of the biggest reasons why Hillary Clinton didn't become president of the United States was because people found out she didn't give the $1 billion to Haiti that she was supposed to, or her and her husband. Those two whack-ass mother, you know what. But y'all will continuously and repeatedly expect change in your communities, and you do nothing to push that change. A lot of y'all are still repping the block. That gave you nothing but poverty, violence, and death. But when somebody wants to go in and develop it because it's a prime piece of real estate, New York, Chicago, Philly, LA, Miami, y'all want to be in yesteryear. Yesteryear wasn't great. Y'all will just support anything because it says it has black in front of it, instead of holding those people's feet to the proverbial fire. And you wonder why it is, after all these decades, that you are not taken seriously. As I've said before, they give you symbolic wins like Barack Obama. Who did nothing for you? Oh, I think he gave you the African American Museum. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You want to be taken seriously? Stop supporting ignorant organizations like this. I remember when people were upset because cops were coming out saying Blue Lives Matter. Okay. I get it. Or when, I forget, I don't remember who the congressperson was, but they basically said all lives matter. There's truth to that. They're all lobbying for something. You have to, as a people, get organized and lobby for what it is you want. You want Black lives to matter? Great. You don't have to be chummy with these goddamn Congress people and senators. This is what we want. This is what we need. Can you help us? Great. Let's talk about it. No? All right, we're going to go the other way. I've talked about it before in the show. Remember when Ice Cube had a plan for Black America and y'all basically told him to shut up and dribble? Remember? Because he went to the Republicans, because Ice Cube is smart and understands that the Democrats have done nothing for you. And y'all told him to the equivalent of shut up and dribble so that you could get Joe Biden into the so you can get Sleepy Joe into the White House. How has that worked out for you? Oh, we got a black vice president. How's that work out for you, given her history? Woo! Just one symbolic thing after another. The Haitian press secretary, who's not even a good liar. She just goes up there and says, well, that's not what I said, and blah, blah, blah. You've seen the clips. Can't answer a question for her life, but y'all still out here celebrating her. Corinne Jean-Pierre. Go and watch one of those press conferences she does. Look, inflation's not as bad as we thought. Really? Have you seen the price of milk? Have you seen the price of gas? Flip-flopping. But y'all celebrate her. Okay. Oh, so she's in a power position. You guys are the... Jesus Christ. I get a headache just thinking about this. You will not be taken seriously as a community. You will not be taken seriously as an entity if you continue acting like this. Stop supporting. And it's not just Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about the American Red Cross. I'm talking about American Cancer Society. You got to vet these places before you give them your money. Trust me, I learned the hard way. Donated money to Yele Haiti. Hardly any of it went to actually helping Haiti. Most of it went to Wyclef tricking. You should hold these people's feet to the proverbial fire. That's your money. And if you're not going to, don't complain when things don't go your way. This is insanity. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the J Lex Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to the content. Till next time. Bye.
So when they say, why do you burn down the community? Why do you burn down your own neighborhood? It's not ours. We don't own anything. We don't own anything. Trevor Noah said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have, that if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, why the fuck do I give a shit about burning the fucking Football Hall of Fame, about burning a fucking Target? You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a fuck. You broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own, by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract, so fuck your Target. Fuck your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.